the growing number of African Americans moving to Africa.
So I picked Kenya because I feel the safest here. People look similar to me, or you could say they look like me. It's not like going to Europe or going to some Latin American countries where there aren't that many black people. And I think God just wants me here.
Now we see more and more African Americans, who are choosing to move to Africa.
You know that moment when you price a beach vacation, see the resort fee, and suddenly remember you have plants to water for the next 5 years. Yeah. Now imagine taking that same money and building a life where the sun's not just on your shoulders, it's on your side. Surprise! More African Americans are choosing Africa over the Caribbean. Not because the Caribbean isn't gorgeous, it is, don't fight me, but because Africa is playing a bigger game with more levels, more bonuses, and fewer hidden charges. This isn't a random migration trend, it's a shift in mindset. The receipts are real, the stories are multiplying, and what's happening is bigger than just a relocation. It's a redefinition. Let's start with the part your landlord doesn't want you to hear. In many African cities, your US dollars aren't just stretching, they're doing yoga. The cost of living curve is doing the electric slide in your favor. We're talking modern apartments with balconies that overlook sunsets instead of parking lots. We're talking fresh produce that didn't travel cross-country in plastic wrap. And you're not explaining to your landlord why your rent went up because the neighborhood got trendy. The Caribbean is beautiful, but many islands operate on high import costs, tourism pricing, and limited space. In Africa, your money doesn't just buy a home, it buys breathing room, dignity, and options. That's not relocation. That's a lifestyle upgrade with Wi-Fi. And if your wallet's finally exhaling, wait till your ambition starts doing cartwheels. Because for a lot of people, the move isn't about escaping, it's about expanding. Africa's startup culture is buzzing like a phone on 1% battery. You've got tech hubs in Nairobi, fintech revolutions in Lagos, eco-fashion in Accra, and renewable energy startups in Kigali. It's like Silicon Valley met Wakanda and said, let's collaborate. Entrepreneurs are building not just for profit, but for impact, and the diaspora is leading the charge. In the Caribbean, the opportunities are there, but the market size can limit your ceiling. In Africa, you've got scale, youth, demand, and ambition that could power a small planet. If you hate glass ceilings, Africa's handing you a sledgehammer and a business license. Cool, so the bag is getting bigger. But money alone doesn't buy peace of mind. Let's talk about something America rarely gives freely: belonging. Imagine walking down the street and no one's scanning your presence like you're an unsolved mystery. You're not the only one in the room. You're just one of many. People greet you, not because you're a tourist, but because you look like family. For African Americans who've spent their lives collecting microaggressions like unwanted souvenirs, that shift hits deep. The Caribbean shares cultural familiarity, no doubt, but Africa adds a layer that's ancestral, spiritual, and historical. It's not just visiting, it's returning. It's standing in a place where your reflection finally matches your surroundings, where your spirit stops whispering, almost home, and finally says, we're here. Of course, identity is emotional, but migration is logistical. And here's where Africa flips the script again. Governments across the continent have started to actively court the diaspora. Not with hollow slogans, but with policies, business visas, digital nomad programs, dual citizenships, tax incentives, and cultural reintegration projects. Ghana's Year of Return kicked off a movement that became an annual tradition. Rwanda's visa on arrival policy is attracting entrepreneurs. Senegal's diaspora investment frameworks are drawing in serious capital. These aren't charity gestures, they're strategic invitations. You bring global skills and networks, they bring opportunity and land. It's the first time in modern history that going home comes with a business plan attached. But let's not overlook the thing you can't put on a spreadsheet: Mental peace. Life in America comes with an invisible tax, the stress kind, the one where you're constantly alert, calculating tone, body language, perception. That load adds up, and for many, leaving is about lowering that pressure. The Caribbean offers calm, yes, but Africa offers something deeper, a sense of neutrality. You're not exceptionalized or exoticized. You're just normal. And that's revolutionary. When you wake up without the need to armor your identity before stepping outside, you start to remember who you were before the world told you who you had to be. Now let's get practical. What about safety, healthcare, schools, the real life stuff? The truth is, Africa is not the chaotic monolith some media makes it out to be. Cities like Kigali and Accra are safer than many US metros. Private healthcare systems in Nairobi or Lagos are improving rapidly, often at a fraction of the American cost. International schools are flourishing, teaching kids multiple languages before breakfast. Is there bureaucracy? Sure. Power cuts? Sometimes. But the trade-off is control. You're not just a consumer in someone else's system. You're a stakeholder in a growing one. And that growing system, it's already building communities that make the move feel seamless. Diaspora networks are forming everywhere. You've got expats opening schools, cafes, and community centers. Digital nomad meetups turning into co-living hubs. Local partnerships blossoming into lifelong friendships. It's not just, I moved here, it's I built here. And when a whole generation of returnees starts building together, something bigger than migration happens. It becomes movement. Now let's zoom out for a second. What's really going on isn't just personal, it's global. Africa's economic rise is no longer hypothetical. It's happening in real time. By 2050, the continent will have the largest youth population in the world. Major economies like Kenya, Ghana, and Nigeria are redefining innovation. The creative industries, music, fashion, tech, cinema, are rewriting what export means. For African Americans tired of being told there's no space at the table, Africa isn't just offering a seat, it's offering the chance to build the table from scratch. But beneath all the economics and politics lies something emotional, healing. Standing at Ghana's door of no return, now reclaimed as the door of return, isn't a tourist photo op. It's history bending back toward justice. Its ancestors whispering, "Welcome home." For centuries, African Americans were disconnected from their roots by force. Now they're reconnecting by choice. And that choice alone carries a weight that can't be measured in GDP. The Caribbean carries pride, rhythm, and resilience, but Africa carries origin. Returning doesn't erase what was lost, it completes what was broken. And just when you think that's the end of the story, nope. It's also reshaping what retirement looks like. Forget bingo nights and early bird specials. Imagine mornings with ocean views, afternoons filled with local festivals, and evenings where neighbors become family. That modest pension that barely covers rent in Atlanta, it's building you a house in Accra. Retirees aren't winding down, they're starting over. Teaching, volunteering, launching second acts. Retirement in Africa isn't a fade-out, it's a remix, with better lighting and better food. When you step back, the pattern becomes clear. This isn't about leaving the US or rejecting the Caribbean, it's about redefining where Black futures can flourish. Every person who moves back to Africa sends a message written not in protest, but in presence. I'm not escaping, I'm evolving. And that's powerful, because every builder, teacher, creative, or entrepreneur who plants roots on African soil contributes to a reverse brain drain. The story of extraction is finally becoming a story of return. For America, each departure is a quiet alarm bell, proof that the land of opportunity has cracks it refuses to fix. For Africa, each arrival is voltage, a human recharge fueling growth, pride, and global influence. It's not just migration, it's momentum. And it's changing how both continents see themselves and each other. So what does it mean for you? Maybe nothing, or maybe everything. Maybe it's a reminder that home isn't where you start. It's where you finally feel free. You don't have to move tomorrow, but you should at least ask yourself, what kind of future do you want to build? And where does that future truly exist? Because for the first time in generations, there's a real choice, and choice is power. If this video lit a spark in you, don't just scroll away, share it. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more real conversations like this one. Because this isn't just about migration. It's about reclamation. It's about rewriting the story of where we belong and how far we're willing to go to find peace, prosperity, and purpose on our own terms. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because this whole wave isn't just about individuals finding better weather and cheaper rent. It's about rewriting the global script. For centuries, the story of Black migration has been a one-way flight, away from Africa. First through chains, then through opportunity, but now, the flight path is reversing. And it's not just symbolic, it's strategic. The same descendants who were once exported as labor are returning as leaders, investors, and innovators. That's not just poetic justice. That's economic karma with compound interest. See, every move from Brooklyn to Botswana or Atlanta to Accra is more than relocation. It's redistribution of power. Talent, money, creativity, all flowing back to the continent that was once drained of it. It's like watching history hit the undo button, except this time, the hands controlling it are Black, deliberate, and globally connected. And the ripple effects? Massive. We're talking about the rise of African venture funds led by diaspora founders, cross-Atlantic trade partnerships, digital content empires linking Lagos to Los Angeles. It's not brain drain, it's brain return with Wi-Fi. But here's the curveball. This isn't just about economics. It's about identity 2.0. For a long time, being Black in America meant defining yourself in opposition to something. Systemic racism, exclusion, invisibility. Being Black in Africa, though, that's a different kind of mirror. Nobody's asking you to represent the race. You are the race. You're not an exception. You're the default setting. That mental recalibration hits different. It's like switching from survival mode to creation mode. Instead of, how do I fit in? It becomes, how do I build out? And speaking of building, let's talk culture. Africa's influence isn't coming. It's already here, sitting in your playlist, your fashion feed, your Netflix recommendations. Afrobeats is global. Nollywood is exploding. Streetwear in Lagos could walk a Paris runway tomorrow and nobody would blink. The creative capital of the continent is magnetic, and the diaspora is amplifying it. When African Americans plug into that ecosystem, it's like a fusion reactor, Black creativity squared. Suddenly, you're not borrowing culture, you're co-creating it. But there's also something spiritual under all that sparkle. This wave isn't about abandoning the West, it's about balancing the scales. For generations, the idea of making it meant getting closer to whiteness, westernness, or wealth. Now making it might mean reconnecting to what your great-grandparents were cut off from: land, language, rhythm, peace. It's about self-sovereignty, not just financial independence. About rerouting success in identity, not assimilation. And that subtle shift, that's the seed of a cultural revolution. Now, if you think this is just a feel-good narrative, think again. There are geopolitical tremors under this story. Governments in Washington, London, and Paris are paying attention. Because every educated, skilled, globally minded person who leaves their system for African soil is a data point and a message. It says, we're done waiting for equality. We're building equity elsewhere. It's quiet, but it's loud. And Africa, once treated as the background of the world, is stepping into the frame, boldly, unapologetically, with receipts. You can already see it in how the continent is positioning itself. Trade zones like AFCFTA are creating the world's largest free trade area. Countries like Rwanda and Ghana are building infrastructure that rivals mid-tier European cities. And as the diaspora keeps returning, bringing skills, capital, and cross-cultural fluency, the acceleration is exponential. Africa isn't begging for validation anymore. It's setting its own metrics. And that shift isn't just inspiring, it's contagious. But let's keep it real. This movement isn't for everyone. Not every return is a fairy tale. There are challenges. Bureaucracy can test your patience. Power outages will test your generator. And sometimes, cultural reintegration means realizing you're both insider and outsider. You'll be learning as much as you're teaching. But for most people who make the move, the trade-off is worth it. Because for the first time, they're building something that feels like theirs. Not rented belonging, real ownership of identity, future, and destiny. And that's the word that keeps coming up. Ownership. Because when you start owning your narrative, everything else follows. Your time, your money, your peace. And that's what this shift really represents. Collective reclamation. It's not going back. It's moving forward to a version of the future where Black people don't just survive history, they rewrite it. So maybe the real question isn't, why are African Americans choosing Africa over the Caribbean? Maybe it's, why wouldn't they? Both regions are rich, beautiful, and powerful in their own right. But Africa's calling isn't just economic, it's existential. It's not just sun and palm trees, it's story and purpose. And when purpose calls, it's hard to ignore. Because deep down, this isn't about geography, it's about liberation. The kind that doesn't come with permission slips or hashtags, the kind that comes from remembering who you are and deciding who you'll be next. It's not about escaping America. It's about expanding what being American and being African can mean in the 21st century. It's about legacy, continuity, full circle healing. And maybe, just maybe, it's about time. So if you're watching this wondering whether the dream is possible, let me save you the suspense. It is. Thousands are already doing it. Not waiting for approval, not waiting for a perfect system, just choosing themselves and finding home in the process. And that's the story no one's telling loudly enough. This isn't a movement away from something. It's a movement towards something bigger. If you felt that, if something in your chest said, "That's me," don't just let it fade when the video ends. Research, connect, reach out to those who've done it. Because this isn't just about relocation, it's about reclamation. And if you want more stories like this, ones that hit the heart and the headlines, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with someone who needs that reminder. Home isn't always where you were born. Sometimes it's where your soul stopped feeling like a guest. Because the future, it's already boarding. And this time, the flight path leads home.